So in 1891, the Czech composer Antonín Dvořák comes to the United States for the first time. And you might be wondering, well, why New York? And the reason is there was a woman, a patron of the arts in New York City, who wanted to put the United States on the map. And she felt the best way to do it was to bring someone over who could help American composers discover their roots. Antonín Dvořák was very famous for using Czech folk tunes in his music, for tapping into the Czech folk spirit and making that into art music, high art music. So Antonín Dvořák is brought over. At the time, it was the New York Conservatory. He's put in charge of composition. And the first thing he does is he says, I want to get to know the indigenous music. And he saw the indigenous music as African-American spirituals. And in fact, the New York Conservatory did have an open policy. So they offered fellowships and scholarships to African-American composers, to young people who had been the children of slaves. And so there, Dvořák encounters all of this music, and in fact, to the point that he publishes an article, which got a lot of attention here in the US. He publishes an article in New York that basically says if America is going to proceed, if they are going to be a strong musical force, if they're truly going to create a style of American music, they need to embrace African-American spirituals. They need to tap into the music that is indigenous to this area. In addition to that, he actually had some relatives that lived in Spillville, Iowa. And so while he was here, he, one summer, took a trip to Spillville to see these cousins who had been Czech immigrants from the generation before. And while there, he also comes across the book Hiawatha and reads it. And in fact, there were sections of that text that influenced him when he wrote the New World Symphony. So there are many who say, oh, well, so did he hear Native American music? I don't know that he actually did, or if he did, he heard it very superficially, but he did have a sense of what that music was about. And so you hear Indian-like elements in that music, but a lot of the core music influence in that piece were the spirituals that he had encountered in New York.